Detective Alex Nova is a brilliant and dedicated detective with a keen eye for detail and an unwavering commitment to justice. He is known for his sharp intellect, his ability to think strategically, and his unwavering determination to solve even the most challenging cases. Detective Nova is also a compassionate and understanding individual, always willing to lend a listening ear to the victims and witnesses he encounters. Driven by a strong sense of justice and a deep desire to protect the innocent, Detective Nova has dedicated his life to serving the community. He is a tireless investigator, often working long hours to uncover the truth and bring criminals to justice. His unwavering commitment to his work has earned him the respect of his colleagues and the admiration of the public. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Detective Nova is also a respected mentor and leader. He is always willing to share his knowledge and expertise with his colleagues, and he is known for his ability to motivate and inspire others. Detective Alex Nova's fame quickly spread throughout the state after he solved his third case, the murder of the young woman. His relentless pursuit of justice and his ability to solve even the most difficult cases made him a legend among law enforcement and the general public alike. Nova was invited to speak at police conferences and academies across the state, where he shared his insights and expertise with other detectives. He was also featured in numerous articles and news reports, which helped to further raise his profile. Nova's fame was not only a source of pride for him, but it also served a practical purpose. His reputation as a top-notch detective made it easier for him to get the resources and cooperation he needed to solve his cases. He was also able to use his fame to raise awareness of important issues, such as domestic violence and child abuse. One of the ways that Nova used his fame to make a difference was by starting a nonprofit foundation called the Nova Foundation. The foundation provides scholarships to students who are interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement. Nova also uses the foundation to fund research on crime prevention and to provide support to victims of crime. Nova's fame and success have made him a role model for many young people. He is proof that hard work, dedication, and a commitment to justice can lead to great things. Here are some specific examples of how Nova's fame made him even more famous in the state. He was invited to appear on a popular TV show about police work. He was asked to endorse a line of law enforcement equipment. He was given a key to the city by the state legislature passed a resolution commending him for his service to the community. He was named the Police Officer of the Year by the state's Police Chief Association. Nova's fame has also helped him to attract some of the best and brightest minds to his team. He is now surrounded by a group of highly skilled and experienced detectives who are committed to helping him solve the most challenging cases. Nova's fame is a testament to his dedication to his job and to his commitment to making the state a safer place to live. He is a true hero, and his story is an inspiration to us all. Detective Alex Nova's fourth case. Detective Alex Nova was called to the scene of a crime early one morning. It was a homicide. The victim was a young woman, found stabbed to death in her apartment. Nova arrived at the scene and immediately began his investigation. He interviewed witnesses, collected evidence, and examined the crime scene. Nova quickly determined that the victim had been killed by someone she knew. There were no signs of forced entry, and the victim's apartment was in disarray, as if she had been struggling with her killer. Nova also discovered that the victim had been involved in a romantic relationship with a man named David Miller. Miller had a criminal record, including a conviction for domestic violence. Nova brought Miller in for questioning. Miller denied any involvement in the victim's death, but Nova didn't believe him. He knew that Miller was the killer. Nova needed to find evidence to prove it. He searched Miller's apartment, but he couldn't find the murder weapon. He also interviewed Miller's friends and family, but no one had seen him on the night of the murder. Nova was starting to get frustrated. He had a strong hunch that Miller was the killer, but he didn't have the evidence to prove it. One day, Nova received a tip from an anonymous source. The tipster claimed that Miller had hidden the murder weapon in a storage unit. Nova and his team raided the storage unit and found the murder weapon inside. It was a knife with the victim's blood on it. Nova arrested Miller and charged him with murder. Miller was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility. Detective Alex Nova was relieved that he had finally caught the killer in his fourth case. But he knew that there would be more to come. He was determined to solve every case and bring every killer to justice. Nova's next case was even more challenging than his previous ones. It involved a series of murders of young women in the city. The victims were all found strangled to death, and their bodies were dumped in abandoned buildings. Nova and his team worked tirelessly on the case, but they couldn't catch a break. The killer was always one step ahead of them. One day, Nova received a tip from an anonymous source. The tipster claimed to know who the killer was. Nova and his team followed the tip and raided a house in the suburbs. They found the killer inside, hiding in the basement. The killer was a young man named Michael Jones. Jones was a disturbed individual with a history of violence. Nova arrested Jones and charged him with the murders of the young women. Jones denied any involvement in the murders, but Nova didn't believe him. He knew that Jones was the killer. Nova brought Jones to trial. The trial lasted for several weeks, and the jury heard testimony from numerous witnesses. In the end, the jury found Jones guilty of all the murders. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Nova had solved his fifth case. He had brought a dangerous killer to justice and prevented him from harming anyone else. But Nova knew that his work